Bro, it's such a beautiful.
Hello everyone, this is Nicolás Tejada Sánchez and you're watching Mecha live.
Hey, good evening everyone and welcome to another episode of Feature Builder. Tonight we have a special guest tonight, Nicolás Tejada Sánchez joining us back as a Feature Builder. Nicolás here was is the first Feature Builder episode guest. So it's been a while since we are now at episode 39 of Mecha Live. Tonight we are going to be focusing on his GBWC, I guess, masterpiece, if you will. A little bit more about Nico. Nico is also one of the admins at Side 6, a community that I am part of, and it's really, really amazing to have him. His input, his I guess it's just his background knowledge, like detailing and all that stuff. There's always to have for the community. He's very active in all social media, especially in his Instagram. But enough about me. Let's go and check out what Nico is saying tonight. Let's welcome Nico. Hey Nico, good evening. How's it going?
Hey Ariel, how you been?
Oh, you know how it is.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, no worries, and thank you for coming back. Really is a pleasure to always hang out and chat with you, be it online or offline. And again, tonight we're going to be focusing on your build for GBWC. However, before we start on that, there are probably some new people here that's just joining us in the show that probably have not heard of you before, or is just kind of curious about who you are. Before we get into your full introduction, I just want to say welcome to everybody at YouTube and Facebook Live. Just quickly going through some of the people there. We have Adrian and Kai over at Facebook Live. And then at YouTube Live, we have Jonathan, R13, Yorick Matthews, Jonathan, and Gunpla. Razi, Chris, how's it going?
Hey everyone.
All right. Well, without further ado, why don't we let the world know who you are? Who is Nicolás Tejada Sánchez?
Well, again, thank you for inviting me to the show. Great show, by the way.
Thank you.
My name Nicolás Tejada, and I moved from Colombia to Canada 10 to I think 11 years ago, and I'm pretty new on this hobby. It's only been 5 years, but I liked it so much, so I've been totally obsessed with it since then.
Nice. And I guess when you started again with the Star Wars and now into Gunpla and mecha modeling and stuff, how are you liking the hobby now? How do you feel now that it's taken off, it's getting more popularity and more reach in regards to that genre?
Well, I think it is great. And the thing about this hobby is that I really love the Gunpla part. That became the core of what I do. But the hobby itself is so big, and there's so many things still to learn, to adventure in. It just makes me very excited about it.
Awesome. And tonight we're going to be talking about a particular adventure. We're going to go over to the photo sharing. And what we have here is kind of the ending. I have the photo here of where you were at after GBWC 2019 has concluded. This is a profile photo I took of you from your, I guess, your Facebook or your social. This is you with the unicorn, and this is the your trip to Japan after GBWC. So with your adventure ending there, I want to go back and actually hear the story of like your road to GBWC. You've given me some images, and for everybody there that's watching, I'll be helping coordinate the images. And Nico here is going to be narrating, I guess, his journey, his thoughts, his workflow process from the start, like I guess his first GBWC entry, all the way to the winning entry from last year. This is representing for Canada. And yeah, why don't we go to that journey? The first photo I have here, Nico, tell us about it. Like, this is the granddaddy, grandpappy RX 78-2. All right, let's start the journey there. Yeah.
That's the origin version. Well, I have said it before that the RX 78 is my favorite mobile suit. Not necessarily my favorite kit, but it's my favorite mobile suit. And in terms of the competition, what happened was that I didn't know. I knew that there was a GBWC. I just didn't know. I thought it was only happening in Japan. And I didn't know that Canada was actually going to be hosting it until one time. Until one time I was riding on the bus to work and I was checking the social media, and the first thing I see is a picture of you inside a car with the entire team also behind you.
Right.
All celebrating, like on our way to Montreal for the GWC. And I was like,
I remember getting a message from you too that day because you're
what?
Like,
WTF.
Yeah, WTF. How come you didn't tell? Like, it's a slew of images, and I do apologize. Again, we just started off as being friends then. I think this was circa 2017. So for those of you guys watching at home and just tuning in right now, GBWC, Gunpla Builders World Cup, that's the acronym for it. Gunpla being a short form of Gundam Plastic Models, is a competition typically held in Japan. And it has now opened its borders to include all other countries. Now for North America, prior to that, the States, the USA, especially with the help, I think New York or something is one of the closest ones that was relatively close to where we are. It was never been open to Canada until 2017. And even then, we got a short notice that it's being held in Canada. So 2017, this is there's a convention called Otakuton held in Montreal, in Quebec. It's a sister province of ours, which is a couple hours drive from where we are. We are in Toronto, Ontario. Well, I am in Toronto, Ontario. You're just north of the city from us, Nico. So being that you weren't able to join the crusade, the march towards Montreal, what did you end up doing? Okay, obviously this was a piece that you did enter for GBWC, but it was for the online entry type of.
Well, of course, because I couldn't go to Montreal.
And he still hangs that on my head every chance he gets.
And by the way, I don't think there was no short notice on your part of knowing that. You just.
Oh yeah, it was about 3 months notice that we had, and then.
Oh, but for you, yeah, you require more than that.
Oh man.
Yeah. So what happened is that immediately I went to the page to see like, oh, what's going on, and I found out that you could do an online entry. So on my way up, because my commute to work is like around an hour and a half.
Right.
I had to download pictures from my phone, put them on a folder, and send them to Bandai.
So wait, all your photos were from your phone that you entered?
Yeah. I have every picture that I post on my phone.
Oh my God, this guy is...
Which is a lot.
A lot, wow. So you entered it via your phone online. How was the online process like? Was there a lot of forms? Was there a lot of, hurdles to get to?
Not necessarily the forms, but to put the pictures in the proper resolution. So I had them in high resolution on my phone. So I have to post them on Instagram and delete them like 10 times in a row so that Instagram will compress them.
Oh man.
So, and just to say, and luckily I had the front, side, and back pictures that were required.
So tell us about your first GBWC entry. This is the RX-78. Like, what did you do to it? What was different, and what was your take on this kit?
Well, usually when I do a clean build of a Gundam, I don't divert on so much from the original scheme. But sometimes I do change it a lot, completely. But usually I try to keep it like a updated or better version of it in my eyes. So the original Gundam, I don't mind the blue, the yellows, and everything. But
Right.
I like to break the colors a little bit with other tones, like the white. I try to add gray to break it, so it's not just the white, the dominant color per se. And something that I like to do also is that, for example, their face. I don't like the whole face in just one tone, so I usually paint the
mask and
mask.
Yeah. So with this one, is this a straight build for this guy here? There's like no modifications, no nothing on that. It was a straight clean build. I see decals being applied to it and custom colors.
Yeah, most of my builds, I not necessarily do custom job
Mm.
or modifications at all. That's fairly new for me, actually.
Interesting. So from this, did you learn a lot? Like, what were your takeaways from this build?
But I not necessarily learned a lot from this one, because when I built this one, I have built a lot by now. So I was already using my spray cans and already learned how to apply properly decals and top coat.
Right.
And I didn't build it for the competition. This one was the one that I chose for it because I already had made it a while ago.
Right.
It's just that I didn't have photo.
We're doing a little bit of lag on your end there, Nico. We're just doing a little bit of lag on your end. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Yeah, my bad, guys. Because like I didn't want to hear your explanation. No, that's great. Sorry, can you just repeat your last sentence?
What was it?
I don't know.
No, what I was saying is that I chose this one because it's my favorite. But also at the time I didn't have a proper photo booth.
Right.
So the pictures that I will take were really like guerrilla style, and these ones were the ones that at the time I thought, oh, they look nice. And as well, I had all the poses that I required to do, like the front, back, and side, and then the styling shot.
Nice. Going on to now year 2. This is now 2018. GBWC 1 year later. Again, back in Montreal. With this time, I did invite you. We did go together. So, I think he is frozen a little, guys. Nico.
I think I myself.
Yeah, we might have some. Yeah, there you go. So we are now at your second photo. We're still getting a little bit of lag from you, Nico.
Yeah, actually getting from you too.
There's too much Nico to handle. That's what's happening. We are at your second entry. This is now 2018. Again, Montreal, 1 year later after the first GBWC was available in Canada. You then entered again in this year. This is now 2018, and you're now using from what I could tell, this was a high grade, right? This is a high grade. This is a master grade ground Gundam modified. The high grade was used at Anime North. That was a different thing altogether. So what was your take now? This is now year 2. What is now your GBWC approach? Okay,
so one thing that I love about the hobby of the building when I weather is that I like show machines that have been through war or hell and are rusted and used. I like that kind of look. So in the world of Gundam, which one will apply to that kind of concept? And
right.
So I went back to the MSO team. I always get that name wrong.
MS08 team.
That for me is the most realistic Gundam show after Origin. Even Origin still has that new type thing going on, but
right.
That one is like the most grounded to reality show for me.
lots of nature too, because they were also fighting on the ground, not necessarily in space, where all the other ones are kind of a mix of ground and space, but predominantly in space. So what we're looking at here is a ground type. Lots of detail. This is a diorama now, a little bit more obviously detailed than your previous online entry. What did you do on this kit?
So yeah, because of the concept, I chose this Gundam. The problem with this Gundam is that the kit is old. It's super old. Screws and stuff. So it's it's difficult to maneuver, but hey.
You did pretty well on that.
And this time around,
we are.
You're lagging a little bit.
A little, yeah. You too.
We back?
Yeah, we are back. Let's try this again. So,
okay, yeah.
what you didn't like about this?
So for this competition, I wanted to do something special, and I had the idea in my head, and also this is the first time I'm doing a diorama, by the way.
Right. Okay.
I have never done one before. And basically I wanted to recreate like a scene of war in a way. So what you see there is, for example, the Gundam is standing still.
Right.
You look at it, he's standing on mud, and then you see the air, the ground, and then you see a little bit of some people there. So the concept of that is that it's I guess a Gundam doing the war machine doing some exploring the new terrain, and the soldiers are just there disembarking basically. So the Gundam was like the transportation method to get. And in terms of the modification, it's not modified at all. It's just I added details to it. This is the first time that I indulge in like I started doing that kind of thing.
Right.
And I really liked it. That's when later on I tried to take that extreme. But if you notice, there's a little bit of add-ons to it. And again, it's the first time I tried to do something like that.
That's amazing. So like with the people in there, have you painted people before prior to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because before I had experience when I started building Gundams, I was already painting kits and weathering them because I started with Star Wars. And if you know a Star Wars kit to make it look good, it's like when you build a tank, you have to try to make it a little bit accurate to what you see in the movies. And a lot of the Star Wars, the chips on Star Wars are like 30 and
that is very true. And I could see also that you use other parts now. So this is like your first, I guess, kit bashing towards like I wouldn't say first kit. Is this your first kit bashing?
I think so, but it's not a kit bash.
Well, added parts. Technically, it's a batch.
Yeah. But yeah, with the Star Wars kits, I started painting the pilots. So a lot of squinting. But
you don't use the eye goggle thing, like with the magnifier?
Yeah, I want to get one. I have to get one.
Yeah, with a lot of the details on this one here. What we're gonna do is, why don't we go take a look at what's going on in the YouTube and Facebook Live, see who's out there, see if who's been watching and the comments they have. We're gonna go into commercial and then we're gonna dive deep into your GBWC road. This is the 2019 entry, but let's take a look at Facebook Live. We have Adrian Riley, we have Kai, and we have Garrett Reese. Nico is such a badass. That's from Garrett. And from Adrian, man, those decals in the inner frame are godlike. Wow, like that's the attention to details that you've been placing on your kits, which is really, really awesome. Looking now over at YouTube Live. Let's see here from Jonathan, Saturday Night Lights. R13 saying yo, yo, yo. There's a clap from York. Jonathan, again, interesting intro. Yep, that was one hell of an intro, and thank you for that. Chris saying that Nico rocks. R13 signature Nico style. And we got Devery joining us. Hobbyworks Ranny. Oh, hiyo everyone. And also from R13, I remember Team Also, aka AO Mecha, forcing me to put an entry. I did not force you, no. Not at all. And Jonathan Velasquez saying it's a cool kit. We are gonna do a quick commercial break, intermission one, and then we will be back with the rest of your build. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ariel from AO Mecha. I just want to let you guys know about all my other social media outlets if you haven't had a chance to check them out at facebook.com/AOMecha, on YouTube, youtube.com/AOMecha, on Instagram, instagram.com/AO_Mecha, on Twitter, @AO_Mecha, and on Discord, fairly new. That one is AO_Mecha, #3414. Anyways, hope to hear from you guys. Through any of those platforms, feel free to DM me or PM me, as well as emailing me. My email is aomecha.info@gmail.com. Just want to let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by USA Gundam Store. Please check them out, www.usagundamstore.com, and save on your purchases when you use my discount code AOMecha10. All right, let's get back to the show and see what's going on there. And welcome back, guys. If you are just joining us tonight, we have a feature builder guest, Nicolás Tejada Sánchez. We're talking about his GBWC entries. We were just talking about his first couple of years experience with, entering GBWC for the first time online, and then the second time again locally at Montreal in 2018. So why don't we go ahead and continue on with the story here, Nico? Oops, wrong one. Keep forgetting that this is the button for it. There we go. And why don't we start talking about, I guess, your road to GBWC. This is now 2019. This is year 3 of GBWC for you here in Canada, Eastern Division. What can you tell us about the kit, the base kit that you selected?
Well, again, I wanted to do the same thing, same kind of idea of war scenario that I did before. Mm-hmm. What motivated me to start to do this build the way that I did was actually from the previous one, because when I went to Montreal, I wanted just to go there and be part of the experience, get the pin and all that stuff, but I ended up winning second place in the semifinals there. So that got me very excited. So one thing that I had on my mind about the new entry for 2019 is that I was going to give it my all, and I was going to try not only compete and also be part of the experience again, mm-hmm. but this time I wanted to place. So right. I'm not saying that I want to, getting first place will be great, but I just wanted to place at something, not just put it there and get the pin. No, I wanted to go serious on it.
To circle back on that for you guys that are watching us at home, this kit, I just went back to the Ground Gundam diorama that actually placed second place in GBWC 2018 in Montreal. So congratulations on that, Nico. Now this new 2019 journey, you've selected another one from the 08 MS team. What can you tell us about this kit?
And I needs to make newer versions of those kits, man. I'm not doing another entry for anything with one of those because they are difficult.
Right.
Very difficult and stressful. But again, I didn't want to do the exact same one. So that's why I chose the ECA this time. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily is my favorite one. The other one was my favorite one. I wish I had done it backwards, the other way around. But
right.
And
so when you were going through the kits, was there any other kits close to consideration for doing rather than this one?
No. It was always this.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. I lied. I did have an idea of a different one. It was one of those RE kits.
That's where I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that I was telling you about when I was developing the concept that I was going to use one of those and I was going to do all this customization. But the thing is, when I built one before any of this, I realized that it's like this big.
Yeah.
Because those are in 100 scale are still small.
Right.
I can't use this.
And you wanted to use like 2 of them. I remember you were like hunting down for 2 of them.
Oh, I did. Yeah. So I was going to do like 3, but hey, I knew this was going to take a long time. So I started working on it on February.
So
and the competition is in September, but still, as I went, you will start to notice that that's not enough time. So thank God I didn't went for the 3
easy,
concept.
gun easy, yeah. So the next photo I have here, I guess you're now starting. You were talking about the older kits. So the inner frame is where we're gonna start off with your story. What can you tell us about the inner frame and how you progressed with it?
Well, here I wanted to do what a lot of people who do the tanks and aircraft modelers do, is that they paint everything as accurate as possible, and that means even if something inside the aircraft is never going to be seen again, they know, they detail everything, but to make it as realistic as possible. In this case, for 2 things. One, I wanted that to be totally weathered, totally painted, the whole thing, as realistic as I could. And also because I learned from previous builds that I weather is that once you do that, there's parts inside that remain clean. So if you put in a certain pose, you go like that, oh, so that spot is clean.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you could go inside and try to do it, but it wouldn't be as good, I guess.
So the inner frame of this one was weathered.
I decided to weather. I weathered the whole inner frame.
Nice.
Inside. I painted it black, rubber black with a spray can, Tamiya spray can. That kind of black is not glossy at all. So it's great when you have a part, right? And you want to do dry brushing on it. Because it was black, they'll pop up even more. And after that, what I use is the Tamiya Weathering Master Kit.
That's the powdered one,
rust
right?
effects, the word. Yes. There's new techniques that I'm doing right now that I didn't do on that build, on that inner frame. So on this one, that is the latest one that I'm doing, has more effects than the one that you saw in the picture. Like it's the streaking, there's actually sponge on it. There's things that I learned along the way. Every project that I do, I learn something from it, or I learn not to do something on it.
Right on, yeah. So not a lot of people would consider painting or even doing anything in the inner frames, just because most of the end products, unless it's battle damage or actually intentionally exposed frames, would just be covered by armor. Now, what was your thought process when you were weathering this? It's are you gonna expose? Were there any thought of exposing some of the armor as part of the diorama? How have you always thought that this is gonna be a closed armor?
Totally. It will never be seen again. It's like the Bandai kit of the ATST, the one with the 2 legs.
Yeah.
You have a very detailed cockpit, and you can paint it and everything, but once you close it, it's gone. Unless you do a gimmick of opening and seeing it.
Yeah.
And I built that kit twice, and I always detail paint everything, and never to be seen. That's why I make sure I take good pictures of it.
Nice.
So that concept, I translated it into this. So yeah, I weathered the inner frame, detail as much as I could. I actually did a photo shoot of it as it was done.
Right. Okay.
Just the inner frame of that, because yeah, after these pictures, it's gonna be totally covered up.
So after doing the inner frame, obviously there's armor work. The next photo here, we have a photo of your shoulder pad or the shoulder armor for it. What were your approach when you're doing the armor in this time around?
Oh, okay. So for that, it's something that I picked up from the previous build. The previous build that I did is all weather and battle damage, if you could say. But it's still the smooth. It's smooth. The pieces are smooth. There's nothing it never hit a rock when it was walking or never got punched. So
it's almost fresh off the assembly.
Exactly. It was just paint. It's just paint. So this time I wanted to give it a little more, not just using as an empty canvas when I was painting. I wanted to give it also the effect of the actual pieces missing and
getting chipped and damage and all that.
Oh, by the way, I had 2 kits of this, 2 EC8s.
All right.
So,
okay.
Because I knew that, hey,
you never know when you might mess something up so bad that you can't fix it.
On it, and that piece falls and disappears in the floor, or you got too excited and whoop, you broke it.
Or you just lose it altogether, right? Like there's like
So-
the floor goblins taking it.
Exactly. So if you look at that's actually not the shoulder that I used.
Okay. And where's this
Because
from? This
I-
is from the spare kit?
This one, the first one.
Hmm.
So I only took a picture of the process of the chipping on that one, but I didn't use this one. I used a different one.
Okay.
Hey. But because I overdid I was getting too excited cutting.
What did you use? Is it just a knife? Did you use any drills? Did you use any sanding?
Just a hobby knife.
Just a hobby
one.
knife. Wow.
Yeah, I used like 3 because, like I said, it's one of those Michael's cheap ones. So broke a lot
Right.
of blades.
Continuing.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the plastic is easy. It's easy to cut. So it was just basically little dents.
Mm.
But when you do more than one in one spot, then you can you create a little uneven pattern. So it doesn't look like it was just whipped.
Right. And there's different grooves to it too. When you cut it in different angles and like multiple cuts and whatnot for it.
Mhm.
Nice. So
This process is new, so I got better at other pieces as I
Mhm.
went. So the first time you do it and you get better at knowing, okay, this may not make sense
right.
how I did in that first piece, but as you start to learn from your own work
Nice.
as you're going.
So proceeding on with the rest of your work, you have the chest unit here now. We're starting work on the chest area. What are some of the I guess modifications, if any, and type of damages that you applied to the armor?
Okay, so I already had in my mind the concept that I was gonna do.
Mhm.
And basically what I was going to create is, think of it as a machine that belonged to a pilot for a very long time. And he developed feelings for it, so he wanted to customize it and enhance it
Mhm.
every time he could. Think of the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo. When he got the ship, it was clean and everything. But when you look at it in the later movies, it has pipes coming out of everywhere. It's not pretty. Well, I think it's gorgeous. But in the world, it will be like it's just enhancements for performance, not for looks.
Right.
So I already had that. I already had that concept, and I had never done something like that before. So I was diving into it blindly. So after I got the kits, what I did is I went through my backlog and started destroying other kits for parts and putting them in a little container like this.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So I had a RG Zaku, for example. That was the first one I opened it up, look at all the pieces, and start cutting.
Wow.
Anything that I not thinking of what I was going to do with them, just pieces that I would think will create giblets.
Giblets?
Yeah, exactly. and things like that, little pieces, little whatever's.
Right.
What was sad about that part is that from that Zaku, the only piece that I use is the front black piece that you see in the chest.
Right.
Nothing
right.
else. So I totally destroy for that piece.
So how about all the other pieces that come with it? We're looking at the chest with the head attached to it now. I see a little bit more detail throughout obviously the armor. Now, was it like planned, or like how did you figure out which piece is gonna go where?
Well, that all goes back to when I was cutting pieces. And after doing the Zaku, I realized that Star Wars kits have a lot of great parts, especially the Y-Wing. By the way, Y-Wing is my favorite ship of Star Wars.
Nice.
And so it was sad when I took it and started destroying.
What scale
Because
was that kit?
The Y-Wing is, I
The
think,
Y-Wing.
172.
172 scale. Okay.
But the thing is, it's not like I'm using exact parts. I was taking the part and cutting the part and sanding it to make it even as flat as I could. And then it's Tetris, playing and trying to put them together to create something totally new. So,
Right.
in a way, it was a little bit of a kit bash, I guess, there.
Nice.
The piping, I was cutting pipes and just making new ways.
Did you do any type of melting? Did you to bend any of the pipes with like? I've seen some
No.
modelers with like fire and whatnot, right?
That you can do with the ones that you buy on a hobby store that are just the rods.
Mm-hmm.
But not with Star Wars, because this Star Wars, if you do that, you break it. which I did.
How many pieces would you say you broke when you were working on this?
A lot.
All right.
No. I actually I have my bench here right now, and I still have pieces from that build.
How many kits of Y-Wings did you sacrifice for this build?
Oh, just one.
Right on.
It's expensive. I cannot pay, but it was a Y-Wing and a Millennium Falcon.
Oh, so, and a Millennium Falcon to boot. Okay.
So, it was costly. I'm not gonna lie. This project was, and I haven't even started talking about what the base was.
So right now we're looking at the legs. So you're covering pretty much every piece that is like on the armor. Was there any pieces there that you left out purposely, or was there like a targeted area where you wanted more concentration of?
The legs, every part of the Gundam that was too flat, and that wouldn't look like stupid. That you have something there. Well, stupid.
Well, that's kind of relative. Art is like, like if you think it's stupid, but like.
No, I mean, like, like why he has too much. That leg is not gonna bend. Or
like when the arm goes like this and it hits it.
I totally prove you wrong.
Oh, so backtracking, this guy sends me an image and I see this like things coming around. So the initial thoughts were like, yeah, if this mobile suit gets hit by anything on those systems, that thing is gonna get messed up. And then I saw this thing on the side.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, can you even raise your arm with that? Because it was like right here. And then when you go like up like that, I'm pretty sure that thing is gonna go.
And I proved you wrong because I took a picture of it doing this. It's like, look, it actually can.
Oh man, lots and lots of details. We're going.
Oh yeah, you follow. Yeah, I could hear all your comments through this entire 6-month process. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure?
Are you sure you want to do that? Is that the right place for it? I don't know, man. Do you really want to use that kit for this? Maybe you should rethink your career altogether.
By the way, remember when I told you that I had 2 of them?
Yeah.
So this was the first head.
Where's that? Oh, okay.
And and it's already painted and everything, I realized that I didn't add any details to it, like the rest of the body.
So it's very, very new. This could be like production level.
This is the thing. You start to learn more stuff as you go with the build. So I did the head. So if you look at those pictures that you saw, the first ones, this is the actual head that is there.
Oh, okay.
Somebody made a comment saying like, why is the head so clean if he has so many add-ons on the body?
Right.
And I was like, oh crap. Right. So I took the head from the other kit and added more. It has way more details than this one. Where's the head? Here.
Right there. There you go. That's great. Yeah.
So I still have it. That's it. I said before that it broke. It didn't break. I just replaced it.
So the arm we're looking at, there's obviously now paint in it. So do you paint how's your workflow? Do you paint by part? Do you paint by armor? Do you paint limbs before you continue? Or do you paint all the single colors, the same color first and then put it together?
On any of the builds that I do, I always try to assemble the whole inner frame first, and I paint the inner frame as one. Well, I take the legs out and as complete pieces.
Right.
Anything else is piece by piece, and I don't assemble first. I just go straight to painting and then put it together. Wow. Because I did that before because everybody apparently does that.
Right.
And I broke a lot of pieces trying to put them apart.
Well, so it depends. I mean, if they're super secured, yeah, you're gonna break them. But like,
no, but still. So I was like, I'm not doing this again. So whatever. And the problem with that is that sometimes you put together everything, paint after painting, and then, this polycap was supposed to go inside, and then it's painted, so it becomes like hermetic.
Oh man!
So trying to do that. But I try not to do that a lot, but I paint first and then. But with this build, I had to do something different. The add-ons, I did them before painting. So
here's a question for you guys. Like a lot of people should know this by now, but Nicholas uses predominantly spray cans. And lots of spray cans, lots and lots of tones of whites and grays and cream and grays and blacks and whites, sometimes a little bit more gray, and then there's some grays on top of those grays.
That's too.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Here's a question that we were just talking about earlier on, priming. This was brought up in previous shows. With the spray can technique, and because it is a stronger paint when it's more resilient when it is applied on plastic, how often would you say you would need to prime your pieces? And which pieces would you say would you prime, and which pieces would you say you would just go straight ahead and use the can on?
I'm not going for this one. Prime every single time. I don't. I confess that I don't, especially when I'm using the cans on like a light color on a light color surface.
Right.
Because lacquers are strong. But if you should prime.
You should prime everything. Okay.
Everything. I do prime sometimes when it's, for example, I have a piece that is dark gray and I want to make it white.
Right.
Yeah, you prime because it will be a billion coats, but it works for me. Like, this is my latest. This is what I'm doing right now. This is the perfect gray unicorn.
Right.
This is totally painted already.
Really?
And I didn't prime. It's not prime.
Wow, it looks like plastic off the shelf, man.
Huh?
That's painted?
Oh, it's already glass coated.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And it's glass coated. So, because this is ready for decals. That's why it's glassy.
Nice. So always prime. That is the main story on that. However, with your technique,
I'm not gonna say no, don't prime. Don't get everybody. Prime.
We're just talking about your particular technique. It's like you've used paint so much that you kind of have an idea of like how to apply it, the angles, how many coats, and how far the distance is. And there's like some techniques.
A learning process. I start the painting like, I think everybody learns step by step. Does like first, for example, I will grab the whole runner and paint it inside the sprue.
Right.
That's a total mistake. Don't do that. Because let's say you want to concentrate on one piece and then you start to do that, but you're not realizing that you're painting all the other pieces on the side. So I learned. I did that just once or twice, and then hell no, I'm not doing that again.
Why don't we go take
I learned that.
Like a swooping motion on how to paint your kit.
Yeah, if you for like light coats like this, let it dry a little bit, then you do another one.
So it's like a misting first, and then put like the final one after some of the pigments already got onto it, right? It's
similar technique for like an airbrush. It's just airbrush here. It's coats. The proper way with cans is just doing coats. Don't do like, because again, you with a nozzle of a spray can, you can't control it's just the one.
Right.
The one, and then if you do this, you're gonna get up.
Let's do a quick look at Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Just want to say hi to everybody here, guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. It is a feature builder night here with Nicolás Tejada Sánchez, and we are just gonna do a quick hello to everybody there. We have Quinn has joined us over at Facebook Live. He's saying, ooh, spoilers. And 08 MS Team, Sweet Suits. We have Derek Eng as well joining us for a bit, watching there. Over at YouTube Live, lots of stuff happening here, starting with let's see here. Queasy Mac has joined us. He's saying, Ohio, guys. Martin, he's saying, what's up, Nico? That's Martin Irizarry. Yorick has a question, actually, a comment rather. Nico, one thing I love about your work is not only your excellent craftsmanship, but also your photography skills. Philosophy, oh my god. I need glasses. That's what's happening. You always make your builds look like they're best by lighting and photographing them well. Jonathan, another comment here. Now I know why you always talk about this guy. Great stuff. So yeah, I think every episode of AO Mecha Live, there is a mention of you in it. And it's gonna be my running joke for the rest of the season. And I'm gonna
like to say my full name.
Yeah, but Nicolás Tejada Sánchez here is joining us for Nicolás Tejada Sánchez as Nicolás Tejada Sánchez in Nicolás Tejada Sánchez's. The mobile suit hanger saying, "Hey, it's Nico. Good evening, everyone." From Ranny. How many spray cans has Nico used up? That's a good question. How many spray cans would you say you have used up? Rough estimate.
I'll tell you this. Not long ago, I throw the empty cans, like I put them in a bag, and it was a huge bag, and it sounded like a billion maracas. I used a lot. Like that's the thing. This is not using cans is not cheap. Don't if you cannot get an airbrush and set up for that,
Right.
probably will be way cheaper than this. I just can't. I don't have the proper setup for it.
Oh man. And last couple of comments here from Christopher, Gunplow Rossi, Prime Time,
Hey,
2 coats of Prime. All right, remember guys, 2 coats of Prime, a bigger minimum. The first one I would say is surfacer and then do the primer.
that's the thing. If you're airbrushing, always prime. Even if you're losing, I guess, lacquer. I don't know.
Yeah, always Prime. Why don't we continue, Nico, on your GBWC build? We are now on the leg section of this kit, and
Oh
we
my
got
god,
a lot more to cover.
that was still February, man.
That is still February. Oh my god. All right, let's continue on with this journey. So we are going on with the legs. You're seeing a little bit more of the details that you're adding into the armor. So you see now how the armor is coming together with the inner frame. Was there any issues at all with the articulation or like posability of the kit when it was
all the ones you can imagine? All the ones, because this kit is old as hell. It's ancient.
Ancient. It has screws too, doesn't it? Like that's.
But
like
the screws are not. No, that's the screws are not the problem. The screws are just on the arm.
Right.
They're meaningless. It's for example, the waist is gigantic polycaps with a huge just of punk, and it gets back heavy, so it bends.
Ah, okay.
So what I had to do is that the torso is glued to the waist, so it cannot swing at all. So so that was a problem. And then the articulations of the legs, with time, it started to get all flop. I repainted them a lot, but because again, it's the whole system of polycaps, so the legs become all blah blah. Nightmares.
Now that we're seeing the armor and the kit, the figure itself coming together, there's obviously some color changes to this. What was your color scheme idea from? Or like, why did you color certain areas a certain color? Just a little bit of like insight on your take on the color scheme of this. What can you tell us?
Well, 2 things. Again, I try to do this as realistic in concept as I could, and I guess actually by saying that I'm contradicting myself, because when you go to war, you wouldn't paint something sort of super white unless you are fighting in the snow. But I wanted to go with simple, do 2 colors and black and white.
Right. Okay.
Because you don't go to war with a tank gloss or candy coated or something like that.
Oh, okay. It's not because you have lack of paint, don't like colors.
No, I actually was planning to add red, but it didn't work.
Okay.
But that was in terms of the scheme. And like I told you before, I like I try to keep it anyway. I try to keep the colors kind of similar to how they are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's super white, so I wanted to break it a little bit with grays and blacks, and also because I knew I was gonna weather, so it when you're doing weathering on white, it pops really good. So usually don't leave so many pieces white like I did on this one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that was the main purpose of that part, because I knew that it will give me a lot of room to weather and do the effects that at the time I didn't know I was going to use.
So when you were weathering this, was there any scene in mind, like what this thing has gone through in regards to like atmosphere or environment that has seen action? Obviously, this is a ground use originally in the show. Did you meant it intended for ground use, or was these all like damages from fights? Could be space, could be water. Like, what were your initial thoughts on that?
In this scenario, this Gundam belongs to a different world that I created, and in that world, they don't fight in space.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, it's totally underground. And yeah, basically that's it. And in terms of the purpose of the weathering, yes, everything. Once I was in that stage, yes. When you weather, you tell a story. So I start telling, and that's what I love about that part, because it's like you're doing a painting, but when you're doing a streak or doing a dent or a rust,
right?
You are thinking of a story. But at this point of the build, nothing like that yet, because weathering came like 4 months after that.
So with these photos now, we're looking at the decals are on. It's very clear that it is an Earth Federation mobile suit of the same universe.
And little disclaimer, the designation apparently that it has, it was a cool decal that I found on, because I have a lot of leftovers.
Yeah,
it's from the ball, and I didn't know the Berka ball or whatever.
Yeah,
you noticed.
I noticed. I totally noticed. I pointed that out. I'm like, so this guy got balls, huh?
and that's the first thing you do, like, why is that there? Oh, you know what? That might disqualify, and Maguchi is coming to judge.
I'm glad that they totally omitted that. However, if we're going with the correct,
maybe they didn't care.
Oh man!
So if you look at his chest, the designation that he has is RX ball something.
Well, to be fair though, Shiro Amada, the pilot of the EC8, did pilot a ball before he piloted the RX-79 ground type. So there is kind of a full circle on this one. No,
this doesn't belong to that at all. No. Oh, by the way, the shoulder that you see on that picture, I changed it later to a different one.
Oh man.
So, yeah, this is the things that start popping into your head as long as you go. I'll tell the story when I get there.
Okay, so continuing on with the story, this thing has a backpack that carries all its ammunitions. I see now also you're continuing the theme of taking the parts from, I guess, Star Wars and putting it into the backpack as well. So what is it the same thought process? Are you changing things up here?
It's the same thing that I was going for on my previous build for the 2018, but more. It's a 2.0 version of that Gundam. So you see here more griblets and more cables and machinery, because I wanted to do that. I wanted to mimic as much as I could a Star Wars look. Give it a Star Wars look as much as I could.
Right.
Doing each one of these pieces, adding the things, it will take me like an hour. It's fun, but it's time consuming just doing one piece. Doing the tech, playing the puzzle of putting them together, using your tweezers and then gluing and.
Because it's a backpack, did you actually put any weapons inside the backpack, or was it just all hollow?
If I put the weapons, the gun will go, what?
Oh,
it's
man.
Totally empty.
Speaking of, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, we're gonna get to the next part after this, but like if you want to tie up whatever you want for the backpack, it's like the next parts we're gonna talk about is the most interesting one, because a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on it. Obviously, just because it's something different. So why don't you finish up your thought on the figure, and we're gonna go to the next part.
When I finished this part, I basically did decals, and I had the backpack is not finished there. I left it like this, and I put it in my glass cabinet, and it stayed there for months. While I took a little break, and I worked on a GM weather build. I had made that one before. It was a clean build. I just wanted to it because I was gonna use that to practice for what I was gonna do next.
Right.
And it ended up coming out very well. So I ended up taking that build to Torque.
And in that place? Yeah,
I placed third.
Nice.
Against, I was third. I think Simon was there too.
Nice. Okay, so the next part here we're going to be talking about is the base, and this is one of the most unique bases that people also was scratching their head. Let's start with the actual materials and the kits that you use to put together the base.
Okay, so what I wanted to do this time, when I started the concepts of the build, I had the idea that it was going to be the robot on a service platform that is actually mobile. I saw one time online on Instagram somebody who built perfect grade Sinanju. I think it was a third party because there's no perfect grade Sinanju, but the base was being carried by 4 gun tanks, the bottom parts, and I was like, oh, I'm ripping that idea.
So when he told me this idea, we were at the store, and I remember you looking for these parts. What were? I need 2 of these, Ariel. But like, yeah, they're sold out right now. But I need 2. We can't even get one.
That happened the second time. But before we were discussing, I'm thinking of using that tank, but I don't know how I'm gonna make them work. But yeah. And you will be like, oh yeah, but what's the purpose? What's the purpose? Functionality.
Well, yeah, what is the purpose of it, man? Like, okay, tank, are you gonna make it as speed? I didn't see it at the time, but like, I'm glad that you had the vision for it. So what are the kits you use for this one? I see 2 tanks, but this is from the Origins, right?
Origin. That's the Origin version. Yeah, because the other one, no, the original one is very like this, and it's too cartoony. Right. This one has more, and if you look at it, it has a lot of details that I added. Full disclaimer though, the tanks that you're seeing on the picture there are not the ones that I used.
Wow. Okay. So
that's why, because again, shit happens. I had to buy 2. I messed up, and I had to buy another set. And then I came up with a different idea of how to put them together. Instead of just gluing them like that, is to put the tracks in the middle. So okay, I need to buy another one. Actually, one of the
were you already weathering this before? Were you already weathering it before you bought the 3rd tank?
Yeah, when I messed up, they were already done. Those ones. This is the bottom part was the first part that I painted, decal, and weathered, and it was done. It was ready to go. Actually, one of the boxes that I'm using right now to hold my phone is actually one of the boxes of the gun tanks that I got for that. I had 5 of those.
So working with weathering on this one, again, lots of nitty gritty, materials. What can you walk us through some of the items you used to create this effect?
And here I was trying something new. I always use the Tamiya weathering master kits, but those are like pliable. But I always wanted to dive into pigments and see how that worked. And this is actually the first time that I used them. Those are MIG. MIG is really good with their stuff. I love a lot of the stuff that they make. And with the mud solution from them, and then the powders, I think I use desert sand something and wet mud. Here, what I was thinking, if I were to do this again, I probably wouldn't do all of it because those tracks are the size of a building or half a building. So to become that old totally is because they went through a huge, really deep ocean or some river or something, which they did. But probably I would keep a little bit less. But it was the first time I was trying.
So I have a photo here with the thread tracks on the cutting mat. Lots of stuff. Do you find that like working with MIG, this is your first time working with MIG, or have you used it before in prior projects?
Working with what?
Have you used it in prior projects? Have you used it before on other kits?
About which? What was
the MIG products you're using? Did you use it on other projects before? We're experiencing a little bit of lag. Sorry, Nico.
But all the one Vallejo. Back?
There you go. You're back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So not but make, but I use other brand.
Nope. We totally lost you there. Sorry about that.
These ones I
Nico.
just got because I saw them the entire set, and I was like, I'm back.
It's sorry about that, guys. We are experiencing a little bit of lag connection here. Nico was just explaining about the MIG and your using of that one. I think we have another stable. Take 3, go for it, Nico. you continue your explanation.
This is the third time that's saying the same thing.
Yep.
Okay, I did. This is the first time using MIG, but not that kind of product. I used before something else. I think it was Vallejo brand before.
Right.
Vallejo. Now MIG is just it works better for me. I'm not gonna say that it's better than Vallejo because no, I don't know. It's just worked better for me, and it was great. It was great. I really recommend that brand. I'm also trying AK now. That's on later projects that I'm doing right now.
Right.
Those are good, really good as well.
So now that you got your third tank, 3 tanks on this one. These are high grade scales. 4 tanks. You got 4 tanks for this build? Jeez.
I messed up 2, but remember, to put them together like I did, I needed a 3rd track.
I see.
And
Okay.
they don't sell the tracks on their own, so I had to buy one just for the track.
Oh, so you still have all the other parts? Like I'm assuming there's somewhere.
Yeah, I have the glued first try upstairs somewhere.
Okay. So now that we have 3 tracks here, this is now the image of them put together. Cool. Okay, so where were you going with this afterwards? Like now that you've seen it, okay, there's 3 now. It's a stronger support. What were the next steps for it?
So after that, I think it wasn't totally weathered in that picture. I'm a little behind on the pictures.
Right.
I just finished it. I decided to that piece to be totally done, and I weathered it. And as it was done, I put it again. I was keeping each finished part in my glass cabinet here, so it wouldn't get dust or eaten by my cats.
For the kits themselves, the tanks, did you do any type of modification or adding on of other armor or other pieces from like Star Wars, keeping with the same theme as your figure?
Yes, the giblets and all the piping and stuff like that. To the actual tracks, no, they are as they came. But little spoilers here, but for my new GWC, if I ever finished it, it's gonna be the same concept again, but it's gonna be 2.0 of my previous one.
Right.
I'm thinking because I think it's gonna have again the mobility of the base, but this time the tracks, I think I'm gonna try to do them like they do with piece by piece instead of just being the solid plastic one.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. So the next photo here, you're putting together the kit. It's like almost done. Now the top base. This is now the platform.
It's funny how you say it's almost done because it was far from finished by then.
Are we still far from finish? Oh boy. All right, let's continue on with the story, Nico. What do we got here?
Okay, we started with the base, now the top.
The top base, yeah.
I knew that I was gonna use the Mark II 2.0 base because I used that before in a previous build and it worked perfect. I was just gonna detail a little bit more, but I had to put a base underneath and work and figure how that was gonna work because it's hollow. Right? So one of the Bandai bases, the hanger things that you can buy, the one that looks like a rocking chair.
Right, yeah.
Has a cool piece that is a solid black piece. So that I put it underneath. That's where the tanks it was gonna hold.
So there's an actual under support there then.
Yeah, so I put it doesn't go like totally covering them. So,
nice.
But one problem being the gaps on the side. So if you look at the picture there, you see that there's the piece, but you see there's a lot of space around it. And somebody said like, oh, they might look underneath. You may add some detail there.
Hey, they might.
That wasn't you.
That
wasn't you. But I think it was someone from team also that told me that, and it was true. So I used runners and pieces, and I filled those gaps around it with so.
Right.
It has underneath detail that you don't see, like machinery cables and a lot of even frame parts that I took from other master blades underneath.
So speaking of taking other parts, you are now building the top details of this, and I could see already there were a lot of like parts from the Y-wing on this one, and there's like another gray piece. Like, what are some of the pieces that you took from other kits and brought onto this for detailing?
The major parts were those, yeah, the turbines, I guess, from the Y-wing. Those were going to become basically the fuel tanks of the base, because it needed something to move on. So I wanted to look like super dangerous, like reactors, totally exposed, that could, like, why would you do that? Why? No. Because they look cool. And you can see all the little details and little rivets. All those are pieces on inner frame. I think those are a lot from the Hazel custom.
Wow. So you did take some Gundam parts as well and put it in here.
Yeah, the inner frame. I took a lot of parts and spread them out, trying to make sense out of them.
So with this coming together, you have the rollers, you have the base, you have now these pylons, and then power, I guess, supply or fuel tanks.
Pylons, that was a good word.
Yeah, I know. I make stuff up. Great. Words. What were you like? Was this like still true to what you were originally thinking when you were designing it?
It was coming. Yeah. My idea was just mobile platform, the Gundam on top. And as I went building and exploring, things were being added, but it was coming as the thing that my original concept, yes.
Nice.
It actually, at the end of the whole thing, it became more of what I was expecting it to be, which is hard to, it's difficult, it's weird to say, because a lot of people say that it didn't accomplish my total vision, because sometimes your thing is so fantastic that you have to sacrifice certain things to make it possible.
Right? Well, it definitely gave it like a visual presence when it started to all come together. But even the standalone could be its own model kit, really. Lots of details on this one that I'm seeing. Obviously, I saw it in person as well. And again, the pictures don't do justice. You guys have to see this thing in person if you get a chance. But lots of details. A little bit of more photos of the fuel tanks now. I guess this painted now with all the details on that. How many hours would you say you'd averagely spend on detailing these parts? Like, do you give yourself a set time?
Oh, before that, I lied to you. I did use 2 Y-wings. Because now looking at this, I messed up one of the piles, so I had to redo it.
Which one?
I don't remember. I didn't mess it up. It's just that I weathered it, and the top coat, I think I didn't shake it enough.
Okay.
It gave it a really cool effect, but it wasn't matching for the rest, for what it was intended. So I still have that piece somewhere, because I kept it, because it was well done. It's just that the effect that it got is not what I wanted for the thing. So I have to repeat one of them. And in terms of painting, it's just that they were so easy to paint. These I actually assembled like you saw first. The original, that white, kind of that really light gray, and put them together because I added details to them. Actually, one of them has a little R2D2 face in one corner.
Speaking of detailing, we're now moving on to the arm section. Now, this one is very, very interesting. It's definitely something unique. What are the parts you used to put this arm together?
Well, the arm, the big arm, that built itself basically. As I was going building, it was. I didn't plan it to end up as it did. I just had the concept of putting it, adding details to it, so it will disguise the fact that it was just the thing of action base. But as I went along, and on one of the trips that I took to Meeple, I saw this kid this a high grade from Origins, Saku, that has a huge gun. Like a tripod gigantic gun, and I saw the details that I had on it. Oh, I can use those on the side. So if you look at the sides of that arm, are 2 pieces from that gigantic ass gun.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
that is
those
nice.
And they were perfect. On the bottom part, you can see the you know how Gundams, they underneath the shoes,
The shoes?
the feet, they have the thrusters.
Yeah.
So it bends like this, right? On this part, there's the two thrusters from the bottom of a
Nice.
Gundam's foot. So it was that, again, looking at the pieces, looking at whatever I had, and as soon as I was putting to see if they fit, things were coming along like on their own, and I had a lot of fun making this one.
So with this photo now that we have up, this is now the base. You have your pylons, you have your details, fully weathered. It doesn't have the kit yet, but it has the arm. Very, very, like, did you like anticipate how much of a visual impact this was after you put the arm, or like what was your first initial reaction that when you finished this, like the base?
A huge problem. Visually was looking great, but because it was very improvised the way it was going. Usually when I put the Gundam on it, the arm wasn't doing what it was supposed to. The idea is that it goes and it fits in the center. Right. He wasn't doing that. It was just going like, I don't remember if it was missing him or going totally in the opposite way. But the way that I put it, because it has the arm moves. I can move it around. I made it mobile. I could manipulate it in a way that I managed to get it into the right position. But that was scary in the beginning because, oh my God, it's not doing it. So if it doesn't do it, now that doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay.
But I managed to. But after moving it around and everything, it made sense.
Going back
I still too, when I want to pose, I had to move it a little bit to make it make sense.
We're gonna be going ahead with the backpack and the final touches on this one, but we're gonna do a quick break, Nico, and just want to say hi to everybody here, and then we're gonna do a video break, and then we're continuing on with the rest of the build. Hi everyone, let's go check a look at Facebook Live. We have Nathaniel saying hey. We have Quinn saying weathering tells a story. Love that. And also Maxwell is checking out the show over at YouTube Live. Lots of stuff as well happening there. Lots of people watching. So hello everyone that's watching on YouTube. Also, good morning to everybody out there in the Philippines and on our Far East, communities. Quick look at what's going on here. Gunpla Rossi, we were talking about the Prime.
Hey, Ross.
Yeah, Chris is talking about priming my MG Justice as we speak. That's really cool. Hey, Gunpla. Hi,
always
everyone.
prime.
Yeah. And Ronnie, cool base. A Gunpla, love Nico's work. All right, we're going to do a quick break, and we're talking just about communities. This is a video about a community that Nico and I do belong to. So let's take a look, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the stream, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the show so far. I just want to let you guys know about an amazing online community that I'm part of, and it's called Side 6. Here, you will find like-minded modelers and hobbyists who enjoy the mecha and gunpla genre. We encourage posting of whips, projects, and tutorials to help each other move forward in our hobby and in our community. We are always open to new members of all skill levels, so come check us out at facebook.com/groups/side6. We also have an Instagram where we feature members' works, and you can find that at instagram.com/side6_mecha. For all new club information, resources, and news, you could check out our website at www.side6.club. All right, let's get back to the show and see what's going on there. Hey, what's up, guys? And thanks for tuning in tonight. You are watching AO Mecha Live here with Nicolás Tejada Sánchez. Nico, thank you for joining us. And we were just talking.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we were just talking about, I guess, the completion of your base right now, the completion of the figure. But it's not yet complete. We saw some photos already that, with that on the base. However, there are still a lot more work to do. So why don't we go back to the arena? So right here, we're looking at your work for the backpack. You mentioned earlier on that you did not finish it, but now you're swinging back to finishing the rest of the armor, the rest of the details and all that stuff. So with the backpack, kind of briefly just talk to us through, like, what did you do with the backpack pretty much?
Well, basically what I did is I painted the pieces that were missing so I could put it together. But by this stage, I have completed the base, just the paint job and everything, I think. And I also did a second arm that it's a little small arm in the back.
Oh, is there? Which side is the arm located at?
There's the big one here, and there's another one
On the opposite side. Right on.
Yeah, it
right
has a figure there. Again, that arm had to do it twice because I broke the first one.
And also,
it's the thing that comes in the Master Grade 2.0, the char one. You know, it has like a little thing that stands. Is that arm, but I just added details to it. So two Master Grades of that.
2 Master Grades already. And when you put the backpack onto the figure, do you find that there was like a little bit of back heaviness? What did you do to resolve that?
Because it's glued. The torso is glued on. So it didn't go back. So, but again, because the polycaps of the legs are so sucky, it was time to kind of, but if you put it in a certain pose, it will just hold.
Right.
And it still does until today. But basically, so at this stage, after I finished that, that's when I was going to start weathering the actual moments.
So when it's
going to start moving.
When we're talking about the rest of the pieces, so the backpack was one thing, but you also now are going to be touching base with the weapon system, starting with the shield. So with the shields here, like I see a lot, again, similar kind of like process from what I could tell, but it's different parts because it's not pipes anymore. These are like, what are they, like armor or?
Yeah, it has parts of the EC, actually the Grand Gundam high grade.
Right.
The thing that it holds the backpack in the back actually is the thing that you see in the front, like 2 knives coming out.
That's like part of the weapon system, and it looks really well. I mean, it just kind of ties in with the rest of that, but it's obviously a little bit heavier with the shield.
Yeah, it does everything except being a shield.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what if that thing gets hit? Like, what kind of protection does it add to it?
Again, it's fantasy. Man. It's so fantasy, but it's as a shield. Okay, I guess no, it has missile launchers underneath.
Okay, so it does have some offensive.
So does that, he can fire something.
Now, speaking of weapons, obviously the shield and the backpack are nothing compared to the actual firepower this thing has. And I remember when we were talking about your concept here, like it needs more heavier weapons. And what did you end up using for the heavier weapon?
I forgot the name of it. It's a seed. I believe it's a seed Gundam. The one that has the face that looks like a rabbit.
It is the Buster Gundam.
So it's one of his guns, but I inverted it.
Right.
So, and again, I added decals to it, and I modify a little bit the bottom so it has an extra handle. Because again, I make it, I inverted it so it could look like an actual bazooka kind of a thing.
Nice. So it has a bazooka
first time
launcher.
Doing stuff like this, so it's very, very amateurish, I guess. But it's the first time me doing that kind of kit bashing, modifying, and then even to the extent that you have done stuff, it's still very novice. I just tried to make it look good as much as I could with the capabilities that I had.
No, it's looking good. We're just going through a little bit more of the details back onto the base. It looks like there's some like the sensors that they're adding on. So you're still adding more to the base and the arm as it progresses, even though you think it was finished?
Yeah, things were started with proper ideas. Again, this build starts to build its own. So it's like, oh, that is the dish from the Millennium Falcon right there.
Right. And then the arm.
And the things on the side, like the little white things, those are also parts from the Millennium Falcon as well.
Right on, right on. So the arm, we're continuing that, looking great. Like there's now accent colors, so it's not just the dark gray colors anymore. There's now metallic colors from the looks of it.
No, this is again is rubber black and dry brushing.
Wow.
The base, I didn't want to do like it doesn't need to be different colors or anything because it's a base. So when they build it, it's like, oh, let's paint it pretty. No. So basically, I follow the concept of painting it black because in that way, the weathering that I was planning to do will pop up more.
Nice. And there's a little bit more details, again, continuing on with the base. You added like glued and more stuff in there. Again, like a lot of people, obviously, our question is like, why does it need this? Like, where is it from? Like, there's definitely
not a lot of people are questioning that. That was you most of the time.
No, I'm pretty sure there were comments. But basically, the theme is definitely coming through. It's very sci-fi in nature and background. Now we're looking at the full base. There's a lot more details onto it. What would you say were like some of the final touches that you were anticipating to complete, but like either did not make it or just barely made it to the finals?
No, I did everything that I wanted to put on it, and when you come to think about it, it's as it was supposed to be. Because I added as much, like I said, I added way too much stuff, but it made sense to me aesthetically. I didn't want to. In terms of this build, it's not a Gundam on a base. This build is the whole thing is the build. So the base is complementing the Gundam as much as the Gundam is complementing the base. The Gundam on its own, it's empty. The base without the Gundam on top is empty. So that was my concept. So that's why I didn't mind adding things to the base, because people might say that takes us away from the Gundam. Yeah, but the Gundam was not for me the main point. It's everything. When you see it, it's the whole thing as one.
As a whole. Yeah.
Yes.
So with the decaling, the marking, the color scheme, obviously now it's still coming together. You're putting more details.
Now the flavor of weathering.
A flavor of weathering. So we're now weathering all this, but like with the decals, like did you have spare, or like did you use the exact same ones that you used on the model kit? Like the EZ8 and bring it in, or is this a whole new slew of decals?
I have a bag full of just sheets of decals that I've used all over the place. So they don't one thing that I make sure is that I'm not using symbols from other logos from other series that is not ESFF this time.
This time.
I've done it before, but no, this time it doesn't matter. I use a lot of third-party ones as long as they were just markings or caution signs and everything.
Right.
But I wanted to keep it ESFF Federation oriented. So I didn't do any other different
that's
markings.
crazy.
But they're not the EC8 decal set. That one, that's it. I don't even know if it has one. It's just part of my stash.
A lot of it is just kind of like a combination of that, for as long as I guess it fits the scenario. So warning stripes will be there, cautions, and a little bit of like warning and hazard signs. So that's really cool.
One thing is I usually, when I do a clean build, I use a lot of decals. I put a caution sign on every place I think you should put one. That's when you make the joke that, oh, NASCAR.
How many sponsors do you have now, Nico?
but because when I'm weathering, I try not to necessarily do that a lot, because sometimes I rip them up by mistake, or they are not needed as much as a visual element to the build as a clean build does. A clean build with decals well placed and everything looks great.
Right.
A weather one, the decals are great, especially big ones, if you're gonna make them like all ripped or wasted. But the weathering will be also the key element that you're gonna be
focusing on.
I don't need to distract it with tiny little markings everywhere as well. So I kept a minimum on the decal department on that.
So speaking of that, let's just do a quick break. There's a couple of stuff here in YouTube Live that I want to say hi to. So we'll start with Jonathan Velasquez. Thank you for sharing your secrets. I really digging the details. Great show, AO. Gabriel Moreira, shout out from Brazil. Huge fan of Nico Tejada and AO Mecha. From Hasaki Art, good evening. And from Neon Wave over here, just got here. Oh my god, Neon Wave, you just got here, but you're getting to the good part, so that's kind of good. What did I miss? A few things. Rewind back, check it out on the replay. But lots of stuff definitely covered. And Sinanju Sam, a bit late, but I am dialed in now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome and thanks for joining us tonight, guys, over at YouTube Live. Continuing on with the build, Nico, there's obviously this like tiny arm.
That's the arm.
This arm here, what is it doing? What is this for?
Nothing. Oh yeah, no, to check the back. Check the back,
right.
You have to check the back somehow. But yeah, that's the thing that comes with the Master Grade 2.0, the Zaku. And again, I broke this first one I tried it on. And you cannot just buy again just the little thing. So I have two Master Grades. I think Brian wants one.
Oh man,
last year.
We're gonna continue on now, Nico, with the rest of the build. This is now the final touches. We're looking at the final decals, the final details, the weathering. What's going through your workflow process now that you're approaching the... And what timeline are we? We're now at last month, 2 months before GBWC. Where are we at?
I think it was 3 months before that. So here's when I apply all the techniques and new ones that every time I go to weather something, I try to go on YouTube and see as many tutorials as I can about that to see how many people, how people do it. And then I try to incorporate that into my own way.
Nice.
Chipping is the hardest thing for me to make the chips real. So I was very scared to start with. That's why I let the suit to the end. I was like, oh, even though I was practicing on that other model that I told you.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Speaking of scary, I was just looking at all
but
of these.
Once you start and you go.
Sorry, we're just looking at this photo, and it's kind of interesting with all these cotton buds on the table right now. What's the story with this one? Why did you include it?
Because first, before doing anything, I do a wash, and those are the amount of cotton swabs that you need to clean.
Just to clean. This is just for cleaning.
Just to clean, well, to give it, because I was actually moving around the wash, not necessarily just wiping it out, to create little patterns around the parts that I carved. So if you look at the build, each part that has a little hole, you can see that it has a border of black.
Yes, like for example, the back skirt here, there's like little details, and you're using this cotton. Like
that's
cotton
that's through using the. There were people saying, "Are you painting those?" No, that's me moving around the wash. And the best swaps that you could use are the ones that have a tip, like a pointed tip.
Just the tip, guys. Don't forget that.
Pointed tip. But yeah, so if you look at the corners of that picture, you see that that's what I did with the wash.
There's a lot of like detailing and not just washing. There's also like a streaking. There's definitely chipping a little bit involved in that one as well. Like there's a combination of this. Like how many techniques would you say you applied onto this?
A lot, and things about that I kind of practice and learn at the time. And then, so for example, after doing the wash, I top coat and to protect that. After that, I use the Tamiya weathering masking to give it a little bit of a accents on places where it will be rusted or dirtier, so it doesn't just look black and like black wash.
Right.
Because it needs to have color. Because and then the chipping with the sponge, which is cheapest one I can get.
What is that? Is that even sponge, or is that actual foam? What are we looking at there?
Yeah, it's actually foam. It's the one that we got at Meeple that time. Remember? I had a lot.
We went through Meeple Mart's garbage and took their excess foam home, and we're using it to.
It was offered to us. It was offered to us.
Take our
trash.
Go
through it.
But it turned out well. You know, here's a message for everybody there that's watching and is into weathering and new to non-conventional. You wanted to get it dirty. There are so many different materials and tools that you could use that are just like ordinary items. For example, the cotton swab here. We're talking about the sponges and foams that creates a different texture pieces. So lots of tutorials, and as Nico said, he also looks at YouTube tutorials. Like a lot of people, I look at YouTube tutorials as well
all the time
to get inspired or even just to understand the process. So for those guys that are still learning and all that stuff, lots of venues, and feel free to ask Nico anytime. He's been very responsive on your social media feeds. I know you're very, very active in your Instagram and in your Facebook page as well. And I know you answer questions. So question for you, and this is totally just segueing a little bit. What are the most common questions you'd get for I guess weathering, for example? You guys have a repeat question that you often get?
Yeah. Oh yes, this is the thing. I try to on my social media to always answer to everything people ask me. I have answered the same questions lots of times, and I don't mind. In terms of a specific one, one of the most common ones is like, how can you teach me your secret? Or oh no, the most common one is that, do you have a tutorial video?
That should be coming out soon, Nico. I think we should work together on a tutorial video. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. If you can help me out with that, that'll be great.
All right, Ayo Mecha presents.
Because as you saw my desk,
yeah.
As you saw my desk in the beginning, you think I can do a video pointing at that?
Hey, we're gonna set something up. I think people would really like to see.
I would love to do
tutorials. All right.
And or how do you achieve the chipping, or what do you use for the wash, things like that. And like I said, and it's funny because today somebody asked me what kind of compressor I use.
Yeah, what kind of compressor do you use, man? Your finger? Finger compressor. Oh no. Oh, okay. We're not gonna go that rabbit hole. Let's get back to your presentation here. We're looking at the backpack. Again, you're circling back, adding in a little bit more of the details, a little bit more of the rusting and weathering and all that stuff. It's becoming very, very clear that like that is the theme of this one. What are some of your challenges you think when you were weathering this though? Like what was there any areas in particular that you would say like, you know what, this is difficult to do?
Yeah, this was the third time I do this kind of kit. The first one I weathered it because I wanted to give it like a desert used look. And at the time I was very happy how it turned out, but when I look at it now, that first one, it looked like baked bread.
Oh, baked.
You remember it because it was super yellow.
It was yellow. And, yes. Oh my god.
And there's something, something that I learned from Lincoln Ray a long time ago. Is that something that he mentioned to one of my builds? Is that even if you're doing a heavy weather build, let's say, you still have to tell that the original color that thing was.
Right.
Unless it's totally rust at the bottom of the ocean or something like that, I guess. So my biggest challenge with this, because it was desert, mud kind of environment. I also wanted that people know that it's because because the elements are making it like that, but it was originally white.
Right.
But make it realistic, not because they know that it was white.
So it's kind of like
make it realistic.
It's definitely the dusting effect. What I really like about your base here, it has that undertone of the original colors, but because over time accumulation of either dirt, mud, etc., or from like other missions, they track mud in. You know how people say leave your shoes out the door? Well, this guy didn't. He just dragged everything back to the base.
You know what? That reminds me of a question that I got a lot from you.
Oh, from me? Okay.
Yeah. How does it get on there?
Yeah, how does it get on there, man? Like, does it jump?
I was like,
it's a platform, man. Does he get raised by a crane? Like, what's going on, man?
But yeah, what you're saying is true. Yeah, they don't pay. It's the same with the Gundam.
Right.
When it gets served, they make sure that the parts are functional and they work. But they don't, not necessarily that the outside's clean and it's like if you had an accident with your car, you want to fix it to look exactly. If you crash, I guess if this Gundam hit a rock or whatever and it got dent, it's gonna stay like that. So, but as long as the machine behind it, underneath it, it still works.
It's still So
that's the priority. So the base, what I was thinking is that a lot of Gundams go on top of it. It's much oils, whatever. They're not gonna. Oh no, we need to repaint this. No.
So we're looking now at the photo. You've placed the kit on the stand now. Lots of stuff, lots of weathering, lots of layers and layers and layers of detailing. Now that you put the figures in there, is that the road to completion? Like once you start putting the figures, you say close. Okay, what
close and stress.
We're now in the last month, I'm assuming, of the finals to submission.
I don't really know, but all I can tell you is that I finished the thing 2 days before Montreal.
Oh, geez.
It was finished 2 days before Montreal, but it's stressful in the sense that I gave myself a window of time.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was getting closer, for example, I took a little break and I built something there because I wanted to take it easy, but I didn't. The window got really, really at the end. So no more other builds,
right?
Just this one. And because of the pressure, it started to not be so much fun as it was in the beginning. It was starting to get more on the, God, am I going to make it or not? Part. but I didn't want to rush things in terms of sacrificing anything. But yeah, the figures, those are actually recycled from a previous build that I did. I painted them, so it's not cheating, but it was it was from another build that I had.
Right.
Because I didn't have time to paint them.
Who has time Basically, to paint anymore, man? No one has time to paint.
That was no time for do them, or if it was, I was too exhausted to do them because it was a whole new. You start to go on a flow of how you're doing things, and then it's to go back to something totally different. And I was like, I don't want to detail paint now. I'm exhausted. So and also every single worker that I use on has the same uniform. So yeah.
You don't have one that's like a head mechanic or like the pilot. That would have added something, right? I don't know.
For the new build that I'm doing, I'm planning to use the same figures but cut their arms and make them go into different poses or stuff like that.
Okay.
More
articulation kind of.
Yeah.
So we've now completed all your homework, your prep work. This photo here, you're setting it up now at Montreal. This, I believe, was the Saturday morning of that show, or did we go Friday?
This was 2 days before that. That picture where it looks completed, because I managed to earn one extra day. The last picture that you see is the base. I went back to the base and I added little pieces of grass to the tracks. That was the last thing I did. So that picture where it's all completed, I thought it was, but I added those tiny little details the next day, and then it was done. And you said when I did that, why? Why is it hot grass?
It went through the fields, like it went through the forest.
I know all those jokes from you or questions are just to.
So for the record, not only do I pick on Nico online, I also pick on him in real life, and it's quite entertaining for me. It's very self-satisfactory.
Keeps you grounded.
Yeah, it keeps me grounded, keeps me humble, and appreciate it. What? No, man. What? No.
Of course not.
GBWC Day, we're now at Montreal. This photo here, you're setting it up. What's going through your head when you're putting this thing in the glass case?
I hope they don't ask me to take that picture that they need to take after, because that means that I have to take it out and put it there, which, by the way, I had to. Because it's stressful. Don't break. I made it in a way that you can put it in divide it in sections, because you have to transport it.
Yeah, how did you transport this, by the way? Too, you weren't carrying this anymore. This was now in your bag, wasn't it?
No. Oh yeah, this one on Montreal. Yeah, I put it in 4 boxes. 3 of them were Gundam boxes.
Right.
From the ones that I used, but. When I took it to Japan, I had a hard case, foam
hard case, and all that stuff for it. We're gonna. I just want to fast forward a bit to a couple of photos here, and we're gonna swing back to it because unfortunately they weren't in order, so a little bit of preview. But this right here, when they announced you winning GBWC, before that, when you were looking at all the other models and all that stuff, what was going through your head? Like, what were you noticing as either a trend on the kits that are entered, or your chance of even placing?
In Japan or in Montreal?
In Montreal. We're still in Montreal.
The kits that I saw
that were entered in Montreal.
Oh, in Montreal. Oh, that what I liked is that the level of the entries was better. I love the event, and I know those guys in Montreal, they put a lot of work into it. I was a little disappointed on the one on 2018 because I noticed that a lot of the entries, physical entries that were there, were people who just wanted the pin. Honestly, it's fine. It's fine if that's what you're going for, but for this competition, come on, you can try more. The pin, it's fun to get the first one, but then the next one, it will be just the same thing with a different date.
Right.
Try to go more, but a lot of people just went. I think somebody just brought a semi-build thing just to put it there and get the pin. I don't know if that's true. Somebody told me. I don't know. Sure.
Well, that's the unfortunate side of it. But like going back to what you were
that year, the people brought amazing things. They were really cool builds. There was one that was a little high grade, simple, just 2 big legs with just the like well, I don't remember what it was, and I loved it. I loved that one. It was the simplest one. And Simon brought the Titan, which is one of my favorite things I ever seen. So when you look at it, when you see the videos that were done about it, and when you look at the builds, it was, and that's what in a way makes me feel really good about winning, because there was competition. There was competition to go against. So it gives you a great feeling. There was a time when I was first doing models and I went to Turkan and I won first place, but it's because it was only 3 people. So I knew I was going to win something. So that's not, I don't like that.
This photo now.
The competition, I like the competition part as well. So it makes your win more
meaningful, right? So speaking of meaningful,
so that great level in that, and I'm pretty sure this year was going to be amazing. Sadly, it got canceled, but next year, I've seen people what they're doing. Wow, it's going to be great.
Speaking of meaningful, we have a photo here, and we're going to try to wrap it up, obviously, with your trip to Japan. But before that, what was going through your head when you were announced as the winner for GBWC in Montreal?
Before I was announced in Montreal? What was through my head?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wasn't sure I was going to win. I thought I was sure I was going to place or something, but I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to get... No, I wasn't sure at all that I was going to win.
But you did, yeah.
But when they announced second place, I will admit that when second place was announced and I wasn't in those previous 2, I thought, I got this.
Nice.
By then I thought.
So after winning, obviously, and then you went on, because like this, the Canada GBWC is actually 4 parts: West, Central, Eastern, and online. And obviously, you had to wait before all of them are completed. Vancouver finished ahead, then Eastern, then Central, and then finishing it off with the online entries. What were you I guess like now it's in the finals and you were announced as the winner, like what was that like now for you?
That was so exciting. I did again on that. I did not know that I was gonna win first. I was very excited because I was gonna get a trophy. That I knew that because I worked hard on this, and I really liked what came out of it. So I thought I was at least 3rd place. So I was very happy because I knew this time finally, because we're in Montreal, we didn't get anything.
Yeah.
This time I'm gonna get the big trophy. At least I kind of show it. So I was excited about that, but I was not expecting to get first place.
Right.
They gave me a call. I usually don't answer my phone when I don't recognize the number. Then it said, you got called from Vancouver. Oh, crap. So I called again, and they announced, they told me, we want to let you know that you won. And I went nuts.
Right on. GBWC now in Japan, you got flown out there representing Canada. Like, what are some 3 highlights you would say would be your takeaway from that?
3 highlights is aside from it was a privilege to be there. And humbling experience, meet great people. I just wanted to experience this. I wasn't even thinking about competing anymore. It was just to absorb the whole thing. I was very honored that Canada chose me to be there. It was amazing experience. And one funny thing is that when I was there, because the model is difficult to pose, took me 30 minutes to actually put it in the glass case. Is that once I managed to put it and it was there, I actually, not a prayer, but I say thank you to the model, because it made this whole amazing experience that I was having possible.
Right on.
But another thing that I took, but this is more on a personal level, is that I'm not sure if other people, other Latinos who went to Japan to compete in the GWC, but I'm 90% sure that maybe I'm the first Colombian one.
Oh, right on.
And esto es por mi patria. mi querida Colombia.
There we go. That's a shout out to our Colombian friends who are tuning in or watching this at a later time. Guys, Nico represented Colombia very well, represented Canada as well in the GBWC.
Huge honor. Thank you so much, Canada, for letting me do that.
So coming back, obviously, while you were there, you met a lot of people. And when the finals were there, obviously you saw all the world finals. Was there any, doubt who won? Were you satisfied with what was presented? Like, what were some of your thoughts on the actual judging and finals?
Every single build that was there, it deserved to be there. They were amazing. Personally, because of my style and what I like, I had a preference. I wanted Tim's build to win.
Mm-hmm.
I love the parachute, his concept, his style, what he builds. He's an artist, and meeting him was great. Oh, meeting all those legends there was also so
highlight,
humbling.
yeah.
Great. I consider myself just a spectator navigating through all that world of wonder. You see levels there of build that you're like,
wow, yeah, totally different from that. And that
but I learned that you can go there and you can participate.
Right
you just
on.
have to practice, and if you love the hobby, that's the thing that I learned. Yeah, I saw amazing things, but you know what? But these things are doable. It's not like, oh, I will never do. No.
So there is a chance for anyone to be able to enter or win even in place, just putting your effort, your skill and dedication to it.
There's things that I think they have to consider though. This is a serious competition for sure, and if you're doing for a win, start your build knowing that it's going to take you a while. Take your time, but also do something that is going to challenge you. My build, the one that I did, took me 6 months, but I saw people there that when I asked them how long did they take them to build their projects, they said, I worked on mine 2 years.
2 years, wow.
But the looks of the one that I'm doing right now, mine is probably going to take 3 years.
Quick couple things here, Nico. What are you working on right now, by the way? You're working on the Unicorn PG. That's going to be for the 2021, most likely GBWC. 2022? 23?
The Unicorn,
24?
The Unicorn, the Unicorn Gundam that I'm doing right now is a kit that I'm doing to take a break from the 2 main projects that I'm doing.
Okay.
I just didn't realize the Unicorn Gundam was going to be such a big kit because it's taking forever, but it was to rest actually. I'm working on this one, for example.
Nice.
I'm taking the concepts of adding details and kit bashing and stuff a bit more. So I'm still not sure if this is going to be part of the GWC, but this project is long. And the one that is for sure for my next GWC, which is my first Zaku, that is this one. And this is the one that there's people who follow me that know what I'm doing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is another one. I still haven't sorted a lot of the things that I want to do to it. In terms of in percentage of how is my next GWC build done, I think right now I'm at 20%.
Oh, okay. Well on your way. So you are entering again. So that is really cool.
Not next year. Next year, no.
Probably the following year. Right on.
I want to do it. I want to do it this way different. I don't want to have the pressure of completing it at all. I'm taking my time, really going very slow. I work every day, but I work, let's say, an hour. And stop. I don't want to overtire myself.
Right.
I'm doing the break with the Unicorn right now, like I mentioned, but even that one I'm going super slow. So I don't want to stress myself on this. I want to enjoy the hobby as I go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I want to compete against what I did before.
Thank you for sharing us your story. I also want to throw in there a little something on the journey. So when Nico won, the first thing that in my head, I'm like, oh snap, no way, that is awesome. So when he got that trophy, so did I. And this is me celebrating with the trophy for Nico's win. And that was definitely the most tastiest win I've had in a while, living vicariously through you, obviously. Oh man, let's get out of here before we get in trouble. Nico, thank you very much for sharing that story. It was really cool, like seeing your progression from start to finish, specifically with that build, and even our prior story to leading to GBWC. We're gonna open it up to a couple of questions, and then we're gonna do some final thoughts. A couple of questions here, and then the drill. Let's see. Let's go check out what's going on at YouTube Live. A bit late. Right here, Chris, Nico inspires me the most. From Gabrielle, nice show by the way. Question to Nico, what is the secret to Nico's weathering? R13, enjoyed seeing that Easy 8 custom build. Erwin, I just woke up. Hey Erwin, how's it going? That's Papa No Gunpla, previous feature builder as well, checking in.
Hey.
From Randy, we should have a Nico tutorial Nico Tutorialada Sanchez series on AO's channel. I think we could make that happen. Nico, I think we should do a collaboration on this. All right, let's do that. From Digiman, great guest, great work. And from Sinanju Sam, the grind is real. Awesome. Okay, so last couple of questions here for you, Nico. Knowing full well that you're going to be trying to enter again in future GBWC competitions, what would you say, what would your, wisdom or thoughts for people that are thinking of entering a GBWC? Some key pointers for them to consider.
I think what I mentioned before, think that you're going to do a project that is at least going to take you 5 months, something that you're going to, because a really awesome build takes time. Unless, I don't know, you are super great and you do stuff, I don't know. But what I mean about taking time is not necessarily because it's complicated, it's just because you're going slow and you're enjoying the build and not over stressing, but also being creative, giving yourself time to expose that creativity to the max. So go thinking, like, give yourself a window to a long window. Not like, oh, the GWC is in 3 months, I'm going to start. Well, you can. Anybody can participate. If you want to place or you want to go big, take your time for it. Like I said, there were great builds up there that people were competing and took them years to complete. I think the guy who won maybe a year, he was working on that. And you can see
the amount of details. Yeah. And for a question for weathering, maybe give us your top 3, tips when it comes to weathering.
Well, depends on what you want to do. Depending on the weathering that you want to achieve, I like things that are really have seen some shit. That are rusted, used, all that. But in terms of for me, the key thing, and it's something that I still struggle with because I try to achieve it, is the scale of your weathering. If you're doing a Gundam, remember that the Gundam is the size of a building. So that's why I said that chipping was the most difficult things, because it's not because you use the sponge and that, but achieving that level of detail with the sponge that you can say, it's scale. Right. Sometimes I do it and it overdoes it. So what I do is I grab a knife and I start detail, like let's say it's a big spot, I try to break that spot into 3 pieces with the knife, little by little, so it doesn't become unscale. Scale is the most important thing. And then I look at what you want to achieve, and if you like, for example, I love streaking. I love oil streaks, rain stains, stuff like that. If that's, for example, the kind of wedding that you like, look at videos of how people do it. Not necessarily just the one video, watch a lot of them. People will be doing them in different ways, so you can grab all those different techniques that you see and you come up with your own.
Awesome. Okay, there you go, guys. Just take your time, be passionate of what you do, look at references, look at YouTube tutorials, check out Nico, follow him. Where can people follow you, by the way? Where's your social media at?
Well, if you type my name, Nicolás Tejada Sánchez, on Facebook, you will find immediately my 2 pages, my personal Facebook and my page.
Right.
If you want, like, my work and everything, I advise go to like my page, my personal Facebook is just me sharing memes on it.
And your
So
Instagram, right?
I don't usually add stuff people into my personal one, but I'm also on Instagram, Nico Tejada 78.
Mhm.
It used to be my full name, but you told me that was insane.
It wouldn't fit. Man, cut it down, bro. No one wants to say Nicolás Tejada Sanchez all the time. I mean, Nicolás Tejada Sanchez, Nikos Tejada Sanchizels. I'm just gonna start like rambling on your name. Nico, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, your insights and your tips and tricks.
Thank you, Canada, for letting me represent you.
Awesome.
In the event. That was great.
And you represented Canada pretty well, so thank you for that as well.
I
Nico.
did my best.
Awesome. Do you have any final words for our fans?
Yeah, watch this guy's face. You can. I think he has shows on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays.
Yeah, around 9 p.m. EST. Same AO Mecha time.
He's always on my wall every Sunday. Yeah.
Oh man. Nico,
he's doing something great. He's doing amazing. No, great content.
okay.
You gotta watch this guy. He's doing great. His shows are amazing. Being here is an honor. Thank you again. Seriously.
Oh, thank you, man. All right, that is it for Nico. We are gonna step back here, but Nico, stick around. We're gonna talk after the show. Say bye to everybody. Thanks, Nico, for joining us.
Thank you for everyone. Thank you.
All right, so wow, what an episode! A road to GBWC, a builder's journey from start to finish. Hope you guys that are tuning in really appreciated the insight, the behind the scenes, if you will, on Nico's build. Lots more of that. Check him out on his Instagram. Lots of I guess images and inspirational photos. So for those of you guys that are like commenting on the photos and all that stuff, check them out on that. All the links are on the description below on this one. Don't forget that I scream. I don't scream, I stream. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays over at facebook.com and youtube.com/AOMecha. And if this is your first time in the channel, thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. This show is powered by USA Gundam Store. Please check them out, www.usagundamstore.com, and save when you use my discount code AOMecha10. All right, so our next show will be 9 p.m. this Monday. We're going to do a backlog builder episode, and it is one of these kits over here. So you got to tune in on Monday. Do check that out. All right, from me to you guys, hope you guys are having a really, really good weekend. Happy Saturdays for you guys out there in the East. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Till next time, take care. See ya.